Hello everybody and good evening here tonight as we are once again on RaceRoom Racing Experience. However, it's not a Sunday, it's a Thursday, as I decided to get involved with the GT3's around mid-Ohio, and because we're on a different day, it means that actually we've got a few names that we don't usually see. We've just ticked to the end of practice and George Ortner topping the timesheets in that practice session. Reggie Blaine rather close behind. Now, Reggie Blaine I came across a lot near the start of my broadcast on the Sunday events, but he stopped with the Sunday events. But this is Reggie at the moment, and it's nice to see him on track once more. We've also got Reggie Blaine Sr., again, another driver we haven't seen in those Sunday events in a long time. But this is George Ortner, who came on top in your practice session. He goes onto a hot lap now. Looking through then, drivers that we don't usually see. I want to mention them because otherwise we'll never say their names on stream, and it's a shame because they do take part in our events. Some of them may be new, but I know that some of them have been around for a long time in the weekdays anyway. They're just not able to attend our Sunday events. We've got Christoph Muller. He finished 5th in practice, actually. Not too shabby at all. So he's racing with us tonight. Looking down the order, we've also got Alexander Kolodevich. Alexander Kolodevich. I'm sorry if I have said that completely wrong, Kolodevich. But we will go with that for now, because otherwise I'll be attempting to say your name all night. We also got Francesco Rocca. I don't think I've seen his name too much before. Bedrick Marek also running around. Thomas Horn, another new name to me at least. Franco Bagali, I think I just said his name. I believe that is it out of everyone taking part tonight. So, we're currently looking at Reggie Blaine. He's gone fastest in the first 2 sectors, wobbling the car a little bit on the final corner, crosses a line and puts in the fastest time. This is George Ortner, crosses a line only just in the fastest by a 1/10 of a second, puts it pole for now. Kolodevich is in 3rd position at the moment, with Horn in 4th. Mark Keeble running out your top 5. 11 drivers currently put in a lap time. Stephen Gibb comes the 12th driver to put in a lap time. Crosses the line in 9th position in his rough. Francesco Rocca now going to come across the line, puts it into P7. As you can see, actually, the gap at the moment at the top are rather large from 2nd down to 3rd position. But once everyone puts in their laps, we should see closer times than that. Thomas Horn running around, currently in 6th in the session. He's gone with his personal best in the 1st sector, coming through the S's, out of the S's now, through Thunder Valley, as he heads towards the final sector now. Here he comes through Thunder Valley. This is turn number 10, the right-hander. You've got the left-hander, the 3rd to last corner, into turn number 12, the carousel. This is actually really tricky because you've got a tight entrance to it, and you've got to really keep it tight all the way through, and it gets tighter, much tighter on the exit. But into turn number 13, the final corner, and coming up to the finish line. Crosses it. That's an improved lap time, puts him ahead of Peter Backus, who's just put in a lap time. But those 2 drivers really close there, only 200ths of a second between them. Looking at Peter Lee now, in our last multi-class event that we saw around Paul Ricard, Peter Lee was leading the GT3 category in this Camaro, but unfortunately issues in the pit stops meant he actually went to the rear of the field from the front of the field. However, tonight we've got 2 20-minute races, and that means no pit stop. Peter Lee very possibly could capitalise from that. He's currently in P number 7 as we continue around. 11 minutes to go in qualifying, so we've had 4 minutes down. In between the 2 20-minute races, we do have a 10-minute qualifying session. So for race number 2, drivers will be once again able to qualify and hope for a better position on the grid. We've currently got 33 people in the server. We have 34 sign-ups tonight. It's absolutely full, absolutely packed. I was going to get down on the track myself, I was going to when there were about 20 of us. And then once it got to 30, I decided I'm a bit of a danger to everyone. I think I'd be safer in the commentary box. Now, I love this skin here, Steve Kenwood's Mauam car. That's fantastic. I love Mauam Sweets. As he crosses a line, will he improve? Currently in 10th. It is an improvement, but it's not an improvement in position, only in time. Currently, our top 5 stand George Ortner, Reggie Blaine, Alexander Kolodevic, Greg McAuliffe, and Tobias Rona. I don't think I've seen Rona too often on these events, as Peter Lee puts it into 4th position. Really strong drive by Peter Lee. Peter was our commentator for a couple of our leagues in last season, so he's getting onto the track now himself, sitting it in 4th position. Very strong indeed. The race here on Tuesday was awesome indeed, Roy. Yes, it was, and I am hoping for such an equally strong event tonight. Again, 2 20-minute races, just like we saw on Tuesday. I'm not behind the wheel this time. I'm not going to get annoyed. I'm not going to have any distractions of flashes outside my window, which turned out was lightning, but it kept on happening every 30 seconds that I just didn't know what it was. And there was also a lot of hubbub with police and ambulances down the road as well, which didn't help. Thomas Horn, no improvement on his current times. Will it be an improvement on positions? It is! Thomas Horn all the way up to 4th from 10th. That's about half a second improvement in that lap alone, and it's moved him up 6 positions. Francesco Rocca, 16th position. Will he be able to get up a half a second improvement? If so, that'll put him up to 13th position. He's currently on his personal best in that first sector. Let's see what he's able to do in the second sector. Coming through now, turn number 9 into Thunder Valley. Do turn 10, he's a second down at the moment. If he can keep a good, consistent pace, he could move up to 11th, because he looks like he's losing half a second in each sector. That means he'll finish 1.5 seconds behind, which will move him just behind Tobias Rona, just ahead of Steve Kenwood. Will he do that? Comes across the line. It's an improvement, only 2/13th, but a very good improvement nonetheless. That's about half a second improved in that lap time alone. Looking back at Steve Kenwood once again going fastest in the first sector. We're actually still to see lap times from Jazz Forsberg, Pietro Blasesac and Ingemar Peterson. Now Jazz, we know, is actually rather fast. He's normally in the top 10. It's strange to see him without a lap time so far, half the session down. It's really nice to see how close Ortner and Blaine was. Blaine is, sorry, how close they actually are at the top. It's quite a big gap between Blaine and Kolodevec. I'm going to say this wrong so many times. Kolodevec. Okay. Kolodevec. That's what I'm going to call you now. Alexander Kolodevec and Thomas Horn are rather close in lap times, but they're quite far away from your leading two. Tobias Rona on an improved lap. Will he be able to move up some positions? Only a 10th in his time. 2 tenths in his time will knock him into 7th. And it goes to 6th. Only just ahead of Peter Backus. That is amazing, that lap there. Just look at that. 2 tenths improved. And he moves up about 5 positions. That's how close it is between half your field. Steve Legale finally puts in a good lap time. But it's not good enough for the top running at the moment. It puts him into P23, which you can finally see him on the left-hand side. You can see down at the bottom. We have got a number of drivers past that. 26 drivers, you can see. 31 have currently put in lap times because Jazz Forsberg has put in a lap now. It's been placed into 5th position in that McLaren. Actually, I don't see too many McLarens being run. We've got a number of Corvettes in your middle of your field. Ortner also running a Corvette. A few Fords near the front of your field. BMWs spread throughout. A Bentley at the rear, but I only see one Bentley being run tonight. And that's Jose Paul Miranda. Oh, and Franco Pagali. So two Bentleys out on circuit. Not that many, which is a strange and upsetting to see. We've got a few roughs there as well. I believe only 2. Yep, only 2 roughs as well. So it's actually quite separated. There aren't too many of all the cars. I mean, I think that BMW car is probably the more predominant of the cars. They're the ones we see the most. And coming through. Across the line goes Steve Kenwood. And it is an improvement up to P number 11 for Kenwood. Good evening, everyone watching tonight. It is strange that Peter does know how to drive. I know, it was actually a real surprise when I saw him in the lead of the GT3 class at the multi-class event on Paul Ricard last weekend. Obviously not this weekend, but the weekend before. And then unfortunately pit stops really screwed him over without any mandatory pit stops tonight. 2 20-minute races. Can Peter Lee maybe hope for a podium? Thomas Horn then coming up to finish his lap. No, sorry, this is Colin Herx coming up to finish his lap. Currently 29th in the session. 33 cars. We're still yet to see a time from Pietro Blasisak, who is out on circuit at the moment. But we're also yet to see a time from Ingemar Peterson, who's still in his garage. A number of cars, most of the cars are actually out at the moment. I think we only see about 8 or 9 in the garages as we head into the final 5 minutes. Looking at Tuomas Lankinen, he moves up to 9th position, an amazing improvement. He was in 17th, I think it was, before that lap. Lars Rydstedt also on an improved lap. Will he be able to keep it together in his Audi through turn number 13? The final turn as he comes across the line. It doesn't look like it is an improvement. No, it's not, unfortunately. It was about a 10th off of his best lap. Christoph Müller puts in his fastest first sector, half a second off of George Ortner. Now, Ortner does obviously have a unfortunate advantage over most of our drivers tonight. Bear in mind, he works with Sector 3 Studios. Not an improvement, and already about 7/10 off of his lap time in that second sector, so not great for Christoph Müller running in the Alpina. I believe he's the only driver in that car. He is the only driver in the Alpina, so Frans van der Linden, he's another driver actually I've never seen before. Now I've seen him in TeamSpeak, so I know he's certainly not new, but I've never had an event with him before. He's never with our Sunday RaceRoom events. Coming across the line currently in 16th. It's not an improvement, a 127.147 for him. It's only just not an improvement though. It's less than a 100th of a second off his personal best before. Steve Legale coming across the line there, still in the bottom end of your field, 22nd position. Steve Kenwood running around in 12th position, currently on his fastest lap, only 6/10 off. That'll put him into 3rd position if he's able to hold it together. Coming through, only up to 11th. He loses half a second in that final sector. It's a real shame because that could have put him into 3rd position with his gap to the pole sitter in the middle sector. Looking at Ross Garland now, your first sector is an improvement. It's about a second down on your pole sitter's pace though. Coming through, this is through the S's, through 7, through turn 8, up to turn number 9 now. And it's a slide, the rear end kicks out in the McLaren, and that is going to be that lap time done for him. Mark Keeble coming through your first sector now, just exiting the hill around China Beach, through turn number 6 now, through into the S's, through turn number 7, that left-hander, over the hill, down through turn number 8 and into turn number 9. Now I love this circuit purely because of the elevation changes. Now a couple of weeks ago we saw an open wheel race on R-Factor 2 around here, and it was amazing, and now we're going to see a GT3 race which is going to be even better, I feel. Coming up through turn number 12 though, the carousel kicking it really out wide there for Keeble, and it looks like he's going to lose all the time. He backs off the throttle, and that is his lap time gone. 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. Not long at all if drivers can still get out onto a lap, but it will probably be their last chances to do so. Now the rear end kicking out for Muller through turn number 7 as he clipped a little bit too much of the apex through the S's. Through turn number 9 now into Thunder Valley. Up through into turn number 11, turn number 10, sorry, into turn number 11 now. This left-hander, it's not an improvement in the second sector. It seems like most drivers losing out in the second sector. As we get into the final 40 seconds, we're going to have a little look at the results here. George Ortner then qualified on pole position. He's going to take the front row of the grid alongside Reggie Blaine. Thomas Horn is going to qualify in third position with Alexander Kodovelvic in fourth. Greg McAuliffe in fifth, followed by Peter Lee, Peter Backus, Tobias Rona, Thomas Lankinen, and Christoph Müller. Stephen Kenwood will qualify in 11th, followed by Mark Keeble, Jazz Forsberg, Patrick Fournier, and Vangelos Parginos. Francesco Rocca running out the 8th row of the grid, but not anymore because Franz van der Linden improving up your order there to 13th, knocking Jazz Forsberg down to 14th, Patrick Fournier down to 15th, and Vangelos Parginos down to 16th. Francesco Rocca in 17th, followed by Stephen Gibb in 18th, Martin Fiala 19th, and Marek in 20th position. We then have Placetek, Steve Legale, Fenwick, Ross Garland, Ronnie Van Rouge, Franco Begali, Herx, Anderson, Reggie Blaine Sr., Jose Paulo Miranda, Gregory, and Lars Reisart. 32 drivers putting in lap times out of the 33 in the survey. Ingram and Peterson still in the pit lane and did not put in a time during that session. So we have about 50 seconds for drivers to get out onto the grid, and we are stuck with Thomas Lankinen. So we're getting really weird cameras because I love this this beginning bit. I really hope that Sector 3 do fix these weird starts where I can have a little look at the starting grid and more than just one driver, because also if I want to look at the starting grid, that's kind of the starting grid I have to look at. So hopefully they will fix that at some point. Good evening everyone who is joining us tonight. We have 2 races lined up for you. Have 2 20-minute races separated by a 10-minute qualifying session. As we can see drivers in the background going around the corner. That's just how far back that this grid goes. Look at that. They go almost into the penultimate turn. As we are about to get going green, George Ortner will start from pole position, and we are away. Everyone's down, thundering towards turn number 1. And it looks like it's going to remain relatively clean. We're going to have a little look further down the back, and there's someone already cutting turn number 1. And there's a few cars around, but actually, that was a really good move by Ross Garland, diving out of the way there. But only 2 cars have gone around on the exit of turn number 1. That's a really clean start indeed, heading up towards turn number 2. I'm getting on my track map keyhole because obviously this is one with, my track map is the one without the chicane involved. Now up front, Ortner has pulled a slight lead over Reggie Blaine, but Peter Lee is trying his hardest on 6th position ahead of Kodelvik there, but can't quite do it, and he's down the order. Behind though, Rocker's also behind Marek here, coming up around. This is around China Beach, can't do anything. A few cars getting pushed a little bit out wide, but this opening lap, but there's a little bit more contact, and that's Begali has taken around Colin Hertz. No, that is not Colin Hertz. Oh, Anderson around through around China Beach there, as we are looking at Thomas Lankinen leads Tobias Rona, chasing down Peter Lee. Peter Lee has dropped a few positions. I think he qualified on 5th in the grid, or was it 6th? I'm not sure, but he's down to 7th now. After your first lap though, Ortner is into the lead of your motor race. Reggie Blaine in 2nd with Thomas Horn in 3rd. We've got Christoph Müller looking to do well in his Heinz, the younger driver, in that car. Stephen Gibb behind, a little bit of a battle just ahead. That is Marek and Francesco Rocca. That's a battle for P16. And they're going to go side by side, and so they're going to attempt to anyway through the chicane here. Can't quite do anything. See all the leaders running through. I'm trying to keep up because every single number is green here, so I'm trying to look for the smallest ones of all the ones that are green. It just means that everyone's really close to each other. Heading up towards China Beach now, up towards turn number 4 on my track map at least. Steve Legale looking to get up the inside of Steve Gibb. Can't quite do it. He's going to have to stick behind for now and just pray out that position. It's only a 20-minute race. There's someone around in the background. There's Jose Paulo Miranda gone around. That is also Nick Gregory. So Nick Gregory has come to a stop. He's obviously had contact with Paulo Miranda and is loud through. Reggie Blaine back within a second of UAC leader. It did open up a little bit, and it's opened up again. It's sort of at different points on the circuit. He's able to close it, get it close enough. Will be close enough for a move at some point. Tuomas Lankinen all over the rear of Peter Lee coming through the carousel here and out through the final corner. 3 minutes down in the session. And here we go. And I'll just quickly check with the chat here, making sure everything is okay with you guys. Here we go. Tuomas Lankinen is doing his hardest to get past Peter Lee, but this circuit, it's very difficult through the corners to make your overtakes if you haven't already got a significant overlap with the car next to you. It's going to be all about the slipstream along the main straights here, specifically this main straight here. This has this tiny kink here. It's turn number 3 on my track map, and you can see slipstream, it's working in the background there because Mark Keeble has been able to pull alongside Christoph Müller. Going to try him around the outside, but like I said, he just doesn't have enough overlap between himself and Müller, and is not able to do anything. And Christoph Müller, he qualified, I believe quite high. No, I think he did qualify quite low down actually. I think he was at one point in the qualifying session in 4th, but I think in the end he was rather low down. Now Reggie Blaine Sr. is on the rear of Steve Kenwood. So well, the order at the moment goes Steve Gibbs, Steve Legale and Steve Kenwood. So the Steve's all running together, 18th, 19th, 20th. Your race leader still in about a second between each other. Now Tobias Rona has lost, has gained time to Tuomas Lankinen and is actually right on the rear. So Lankinen all over the rear of Lee, Rona all over the rear of Lankinen, and this is a 3-way battle for 7th position. You see there's quite a big gap to the cars ahead now. Lankinen just going for the move there. It looks like he was going to attempt something. We are riding on board with Tuomas Lankinen here. Tobias Rona, sorry. He's chasing, looking at Tuomas, and as he goes wide, he's going to get up the inside, but no, because there's a little bit of contact as Lankinen gets the car back turned in, holds the position, and that's allowed Lee to get away just ever so slightly. Müller also going defensive on Keeble, but here Keeble comes through turn number 3 on my track map. Goes up the inside, heading towards China Beach now. It looks like Keeble's going to have enough overlap. In fact, he's already ahead before the corner begins, and he is through and up to P number 11. Christoph Müller down to P number 12. Tobias Rona still all over the rear. Tuomas Lankinen. Lankinen has dropped off of Lee after his mistake through the hairpin at the keyhole, it's called. He went a little bit wide, lost the time, just dropped him into the clutches of Rona. Looks like this is one of our closest battles. We also got Francesco Roccolo over the rear of Paginos as Tobias Rona runs it deep, coming through the carousel, and he lost a little bit of time with that. And now it looks like that battle has slowly opened up, and actually it's allowed Frans van der Linden to get within about 3/4 of a second to Tobias. So it's quite close now between all 4 of those drivers as Lankinen tries to push back up towards Lee. Near your rear of your field though, I don't want to discount anyone. We've got Evind Anderson looking to get back up the order. He was obviously taken out through China Beach. I believe that was by Bigali in a 25th position, I think the incident occurred. But Anderson all over the rear of Paulo Miranda. Paulo Miranda all over the rear of Lars Reisat. These are 3 drivers heading to turn number 1 now. I'm also looking at your times, don't worry about how close everyone is. And actually, we're getting rather close for P number 4. So I'm going to have to go and have a little look at that because this is going to be interesting. Greg McAuliffe in P4. He is also in the Ford GT. Peter Backus in 5th. He's in that BMW. They're coming up through the Thunder Valley now, through turn number 10 on my track map at least. Coming through as we are continuing to, we're going to go right on board with Peter Backus, and you see, look how close he is to the rear of Greg McAuliffe. Now McAuliffe is having issues with his brake pedal, and he is actually using his clutch pedal as his brake tonight. Hopefully he won't click the brake by accident, thinking it is going to actually slow his car down, and he just goes straight on. He seems to be doing well. That means he probably doesn't have any feeling or sensitivity in his brake, as we've actually got the Audi all over the rear and the mirror of Alexander Kolodevic there, trying to get involved coming through the keyhole. Can't quite do it. And now this is the this bit here is the start line for most of your rolling starts, but it is the majority of your start line. The restarts are taken at the finish line, of course, but that is technically your start line in most events, even these GT3's. But here comes Backus looking for a move past McAuliffe. Can he do it? No, he can't. So we're actually going to go sit on the rear wing of Greg McAuliffe, as you can see behind Peter Backus and Alexander Kolodevic here. Slightly wide through turn number 9. They're heading up through Thunder Valley into turn number 10. You can see that Audi trying to get involved, trying his hardest to get involved. He's only about 2 tenths behind Backus along the straights. Now up towards the carousel, this penultimate corner. McAuliffe, the rear end, just steps out slightly. You can see 3 different racing lines from all the drivers, and a big slide from Peter Backus just behind. And now here comes Alexander Kolodevic here, and Greg McAuliffe's rear wing has got a perfect view of the 2 cars scrapping behind him now. But will they be able to get involved with this battle with McAuliffe himself as they come up? As they come through the chicane, and you can just see how close that Audi gets to the rear of the BMW. But with this, I think Peter Lee is actually starting to close up in the background. He's still got Rona, Lankinen, and now Van der Linden all over his rear as well. As you can see, all 4 of those cars actually slowly catching up to this fight here. As I'm going to go have a look at that actually, because I saw Tobias Rona pull out a little bit, but he can't quite make the move. I did see him pull out. You can see these 2 battles are getting closer together at this halfway stage in the race. The gap between the race leaders has increased to 2.5 seconds there and thereabouts now between George Ortner and Reggie Blaine. Peter Backus sitting in 5th position at the moment is only half a second off McAuliffe. He's about half a second ahead of Koldevic. And then we've got this battle in P number 7. We've got half a second down to Rona, half a second down to Lankinen, and just under a second to Van der Linden. Now that was a big slide from Lankinen in the distance just behind, because Rona actually, I did blank, Rona has got past Lankinen. That happened whilst we were looking at that battle for your P4. And here comes now Rona around it, trying the outside, trying the massively wider line. Lankinen trying to get involved there, coming through the exit of the corner. They head across the line. Peter Lee still holding on to 7th position. They head down into turn number 1. I believe we have a retirement. Nick Gregory in the pit lane there. We saw him parked up, as that was a very tight exit by Tobias Rona, getting straight onto the line for the next corner in his Randstad BMW there. The number 25 liveried car. The 79, I must say, a rather beautiful looking car of Tuomas Lankinen sitting just behind. Frans van der Linden still trying to get involved. And just behind that, actually, Christoph Muller is not too far behind. Only about a second. And only a second behind that is Mark Keeble. And only a second and a half behind that is Jazz Forsberg. So this could be a very big fight indeed, because these drivers are only about 4 seconds behind that battle for P number 4, which we're going to go have a look at now. Because look at this, Peter Backus all over the rear of Greg McAuliffe once more. That is coming through the S's now. This is turn number 9 into Thunder Valley. I'm really starting to remember these corner names now. This is, I like this. Anyway, coming up through turn number 10 on the track map. And it looks like it's getting really close there, but it's also getting close between these drivers here. And I just don't know which of the 2 fights we want to watch. And we're going to watch God of Eric here. Tries much wider line, do the penultimate corner, maybe trying for an exit, faster exit, do faster, final corner. Can't quite do it, because the line is still only about 3 tenths behind. But the gap between second and third has fifth and fourth has once again increased just that ever so slight amount as continuing through. Looking once more. Oh no, there's contact! There is contact between between Peter Backus and who else was that again? I believe, I don't I can't remember his name now. It's just everyone's flying through. I'm trying to scan through names and people are dropping like flies with that. Peter Backus, and who else was in that battle? I can't remember. I think it was... I can't remember now. But that has meant Peter Lee is up to P number 5. Tobias Rona to 6th. Tuomas Lankinen to 7th. Frans van der Linden to 8th. Christoph Müller to 9th, who has now got involved in this battle. So this is a 5-car train to P5. Alexander Kolovevic has just been promoted up to P number 4 with the contact between... I've forgotten both their names now. Peter Backus and I think it was Greg McAuliffe, the ones that they were battling. As I am just going to go back to this battle here, because here comes Tobias Rona on the much wider line. He's going to go onto the grass. He's able to hold it. He's able to get back through, but he's allowed Tuomas Lankinen, Frans van der Linden and Christoph Müller through. So with one mistake and he's lost 3 positions. That's just how close these cars are. Okay, I'm just catching up with the chat there. We do have some Bentleys involved. If you are too sure, we have 2 near the rear of your field tonight. We've got Franco Bigali in 21st position and Jose Puma Miranda in 28th position. As we're still watching this battle go on here. Now the gap between Tuomas Lankinen and Frans van der Linden has increased slightly. It's about a second between them now. Looking through your top of the drivers, the top 5, they're not near anyone. I mean, well, Peter Lee is slowly pulling away from Tuomas Lankinen actually. It's about a second along the straights. It closed up obviously through the twisty sections around the that was around China Beach and through the S's now. It does close up, but of course it's going to close up as we get into now the final 5 minutes, and actually it's closed up way too much than what I was expecting. Tuomas Lankinen has closed so much time up through the S's, now through Thunder Valley, through turn number 10, into turn number 11, up towards the carousel, the penultimate turn. Tuomas Lankinen all over the rear of Peter Lee. Will he be able to make a move? It's going to be interesting. Both drivers holding relatively the same racing line. We're going to ride on board. That was a little bit of the rear end being kicked up by Lee. We can hear the grass being kicked up by Lankinen, and he's losing time with that into turn number 1. And Peter Lee has outbroke himself. He's going to run it wide. And he is down the position. Peter Lee down to P6. Tuomas Lankinen up to P5. Lee's going to be kicking himself with that. And he's going to try and get back involved with the fight with Lankinen. Van der Linden in 7th has seen that issue and maybe try to get involved with this now. Can't quite do it. Christoph Müller has actually dropped behind Van der Linden a little bit. So that McLaren pulling away from the rest of your fight. Tobias Rona still trying to get back up the order after running wide through the keyhole. And he's sitting in 9th at the moment. Before the issues, he was 6th. He lost those 3 positions as he ran wide onto the grass. So it wasn't as, oh my word! Frans van der Linden is down into the wall. So that puts Peter Lee back up into Peter Lee held onto P number 6. Was that Van der Linden that goes around? It was. What position? He was behind Christoph. No, he was ahead of Christoph Müller, but behind Peter Lee. So that means Müller moved up to 7th, Tobias up to 8th, keep it up to 9th. Van der Linden still falling down your order. I think Van der Linden's out. Following that, I'm just trying to find him. He's still parked on the side, waiting for drivers to go through. He's lost so much time with that. It's a real shame because he's rejoined now in 22nd position. He was in the top 10, and now he's outside of a 20th position mark. That's not what you want at all. Continue doing to turn number 1. Now coming through. As we've got 3.5 minutes remaining of race number 1. We still have race number 2, so don't go anywhere at the conclusion of this race. We have a 10-minute qualifying in between them, which I can have a drink, catch my breath, and then we can talk about some of the best parts of race number 1, if I can remember what happened. It'll also give me a chance to catch up with a little bit of the chat, which I have been trying to read, but I haven't been able to read fully and in depth whilst going through. Tobias Rona still looking to move up the position past Christoph Müller. That's for P number 7. There's about half a second between them at the moment. Looking down your order, it looks like it still is one of the closest battles. Paul Fenwick actually behind Ingemar Peterson, who's behind Ross Garland, who's behind Pietro Blasesac. That's a four-way tie at the moment. They're coming through the keyhole. And when I've said before Tobias Rona lost his positions, I was coming up through the keyhole, I was wrong. He came off through the carousel. He came off around the penultimate turn. As Mark Keeble now trying to get as much slipstream as he can through Thunder Valley. Now up towards the carousel. And oh, that's a little bit wide from Tobias. Pushes it hard and he goes off once again through the carousel. Gets it back onto the circuit. He's down to P number 9. Mark Keeble up to P number 8. And Tobias Rona is going to have to fight again. And this time he's going to have to fight to hold the position. So he's got the McLaren of Jazz Forsberg just behind him. And this is Forsberg's view in that number 99 McLaren. So he's chasing down Tobias Rona in the 25 BMW. Coming through now, if I'm not mistaken, we have 2 BMWs running, which is why that manufacturer is the more predominant of the field tonight. I believe we do have 2 different BMWs racing, because we have the BMW that Tobias Rona is racing, and then we have the BMW that Peter Backus is racing. Coming through around China Beach here. And it looks like Rona still pushing to the very edge of his limits there. So we're looking at Franco Pigali. He's one of our 2 Bentley drivers. He's near the field, 19th position. Still good, bear in mind we do have 32 of our 33 drivers still running tonight. My track map has decided to go away. I'm not even looking at it anymore, but I don't know why it decided to do that. I've literally lost everything. My phone has just literally broke. Okay then, well I have to remember all the corner names now. Ingemar Peterson, he was a driver who didn't put in a lap time in qualifying. I mean, he started from 33rd. He's currently on 26, which means he is the last driver on our standings on the left-hand side. We're into the final 50 seconds. We're getting to the very end of the race at the moment, which means I think it's time we go and have a little bit of a look at this driver right here, George Ortner. Pole position into our race win tonight. Or will he be able to take both pole positions and both race wins? I would think so. The man has a very big advantage over the rest. Everyone else has a disadvantage compared to Ortner, because Ortner he works at the certain company that manufactures this wonderful simulator we are bringing this tonight. I think I should go to Ortner and start complaining about the fact that we can't have a little look at the grid whilst we're actually sitting on the grid. I think I should go to George and start complaining about that. Anyway, we're getting into the final few moments, and actually there's a little bit of a fight for 3rd position. I think Thomas Horn has gone off, because Horn is trying his hardest to hold over Kodefovic here. As I want to go and have a little look at your race leader. But this battle for P number 3, this is crazy. I can't believe we have a fight for a podium position onto your final lap of your race. Now, I believe Ortner has already taken the victory. I believe he's already checked across the flag, which means that these drivers have also now just finished. This is your final. People now coming across the line. Peter Lee in 6th, Chris Muller in 7th. It looks like Steve Kenwood is looking for a position through the final few corners. Can't quite do it, and he's going to have to settle for that. Peter Backus behind Greg McAuliffe looking for position. Can't do that either. I don't think we had any drivers a lap down. By the look of it, we didn't. All of our 32 finishers, out of our 33 starters, finished on the lead lap. That's fantastic. Only 1 retirement, and everyone finished on the lead lap of tonight's event. As it looks like we're just getting through the final few drivers. There's a battle for P number 30 going on here. This is an Audi of Lars Reistadt leading the this is the Ford of Fiala. Fiala's gonna try and make a move, can't quite do it. And that's the roof of Steve Gibb trying to get involved just behind as well. The 3 cars running very close, coming up through the carousel, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do anything without a big slide from Fiala. Gibbs not going to be able to take advantage of that by the look of it. They're going to come across the line, and we're going to be able to have a little look at our race results. Ortner getting pole position then, and the fastest lap of the race into the race win. Reggie Blaine finished in 2nd with Horn in 3rd, Kodefovic in 4th, Thomas Lankinen in 5th with Peter Lee taking 6th, Christoph Müller in 7th with Mark Keeble, Tobias Rona and Jazz Forsberg running out your top 10. Fournier in 11th, followed by Parginos, Roca, Kenwood, McAuliffe, Backus, Steve Legale, Murak, Franco Bagale, Hertz, and Peter Baczak in 21st. Van der Rouge, Robert Van der Rouge, sorry. Oh, no, that's not Robert Van der Rouge. What am I talking about? I've completely got his first name on. That's Ronnie Van der Rouge in 22nd. Ross Garland in 23rd, followed by Benwick, Van der Linden, Peterson, Paula Miranda, Anderson, Blaine Senior, Isaac Fayela, and Gibb, Nick Gregory being your only retirement. I got that done in time. I just read 34 names through that. I'm glad, because that's the first time I've ever been able to get through every single driver's name. Now I'm going to take about a minute break here whilst I just recuperate my voice and also catch up with the chat. So as we're just about to get going for the second qualifying session, I will get the driver information, all of this stuff up. I will get all of that up for you, and I will be back in a moment. Hello everyone, as we continue our coverage of tonight's event. We've had race number 1 and we're into the second qualifying session, a 10-minute qualifying session. It's slightly shorter than our first one, but we have another 20-minute race coming up. Now that was an absolutely dominating drive from George Ortner. From pole position, he just completely blitzed the Storm. I mean, Reggie Blaine kept quite close with him, but in the end it just wasn't enough. He kept him in the second in the first 5 minutes, kept him in 2 seconds in the first 10 minutes, and then it just sort of separated out. We had really good fights at the top half of your grid, about 5 cars getting involved in one battle there. In the end, it was Thomas Lankin, he came up in top out of all of that. Peter Lee came in second. I mean, we saw a number of mistakes from Tobias Rona. A couple of mistakes, actually, both of them coming through this corner here, the carousel, which Bedrick Marek is currently coming through. It looks like he's the only one to currently put in a lap time. Sorry, this is Greg McAuliffe that we're currently looking at. Bedrick Marek has already put in his lap time. This is McAuliffe, and that is an improvement. Exactly 1 second it's saying between the two times, but I can tell you it's not exactly 1 second. Greg McAuliffe putting in a 1:26.567, Bedrick Marek a 1:27.569, so it's about 2,000, so it's 1 second and 2,000ths of a second, but we can make the game, let the game believe that's the true gap. Looking through, Christoph Muller just put in the second fastest lap time. So, catching up with your chat. Good evening, everyone joining us tonight. Hello, Dalton. Hello, Roy, of course. Patrick, Nick, Gregory. We saw that you retired on race number 1. Hopefully, you have a better chance in race number 2. Christian Haber, Wilson. Less than expert racing, Lorenzo Bonda. Obviously, everyone here as well alongside that are watching. Feel free to get involved with the chat. A very nice group of people. If you want to get involved with the racing itself, head over to racedepartment.com. Become a premium member today. It's only €10 for the entire year. Actually, no. It's on a deal at the moment. If I'm not mistaken, it's $7.50 for the year. Now, it's on a deal, so get it while it lasts. $7.50 for the entire year. I hope I've got that right. I believe I do. So, looking through with the chat once more. So, looking at your qualifying session at the moment, only 14 cars to be put in a lap time halfway through the session. Peter Back is currently running pole time in the first sector. Tobias Rona very, very close to Greg McAuliffe. And in fact, it's only about 100th of a second in. Again, not quite. It's 0.011, but we'll let the game think that it can be as beautiful and as weird as times as it wants. But anyway, Steve Gibb puts in a time, placing him into 12th, but then immediately Van der Rouge knocks his time down. Continuing through, Peter Lee currently putting in an 8th fastest. We're yet to see 10 drivers put in lap times. We've got 30 cars going to start the second race. So we had 33 in the first one, we have 30 in the second one. As we continue through, Nick Gregory is the driver at the bottom of our order at the moment, out of everyone putting in a lap time, but it's all about learning. Christopher Muller 4th in the session at the moment. Peter Backus did put his car on pole quite nicely, actually, almost 2 tenths ahead of Greg McAuliffe in 2nd. Tobias Rona still in 3rd. Do I see George Ortner on track? Yes, I do. So he's going around. In fact, he's just disappeared for me. Where has he already put in a lap time, George? Oh no, he's still there. Because everyone else is flicking around. So he's still yet to spin a lap time. Steve Kenwood, though, goes fastest in the first sector in his Mauam car. I kind of want to bow Mauam now. He goes his personal best in the second sector, coming through. It's still really close between McAuliffe and Rona. Neither of them being able to improve on their first lap times of the session. Coming through the carousel, doesn't look so clean for Kenwood. Coming across the line as Reggie Blaine goes pole. It's going to be 8th position for Kenwood. Peter Lee just improves on his lap time, pushing himself back up into a top 10. Reggie Blaine Sr. puts in a time to place him into 23rd in the session. George Ortner still out on track, but not putting in a lap time so far. He actually goes back to the garage. Maybe he's going to be starting this race from the rear of the field. That would be interesting, actually. I'd kind of like to see Ortner have to fight through the field. Currently looking at McAuliffe, though, again, going fastest in that first sector. It seems most drivers seem to lose in that second sector. As again, Greg McAuliffe losing in that second sector. Only just, but it is a personal best. This could get him past Backus. Very likely it could get him past Blaine as well if he's able to keep it smooth through the carousel. A wide entrance, a tight exit coming through the final turn. Let's see what it's going to be able to do here. It's not going to be enough for pole, but it is only just going to be enough for second position. Sorry, about 8 thousandths of a second between them. Let's continuing through. Just quickly checking on times. Also checking on that. Also getting lots of Facebook messages that I'm trying my hardest to ignore as they pop up in the bottom right of my screen. 2 minutes to go in the session. Peter Lee currently on his personal best lap. Half a second will put him in a top 5 if he's able to hold it together. Comes across the line. It puts him into 8th. Not bad at all as he sits ahead of Patrick Fournier behind Jazz Forsberg. But he does have Tobias Rona, Christoph Müller, who were involved in that battle with him in the first race. They are both in front of him. Reggie Blaine coming through the first sector with the fastest time. Also, George Ortner still out on track, but yet to put a lap. Is he going to be starting from the rear of the field? Like I said, I'd love to see him fight through the field. But will he make that choice to do that? Reggie Blaine then coming up towards the Thunder Mountain, I believe. I've forgotten the name already, and my phone's broken, so I can't correct that for you. As we're coming through. Do you know what? The colours of the sponsor on the rear of his spoiler are perfect for race department. Anyway, again, fastest in the second. Will it be an improvement on his current lap? No, it won't. He loses out a lot of time in that final sector. We did see him have a little bit of a wobble through the carousel. Nick Gregory on a personal best lap in his McLaren through the first sector into the final 40 seconds, which means I'm going to go have a little look at our results. George Ortner's also gone back to the pits just to let you know again. Reggie Blaine in pole, Greg McAuliffe in second, Peter Backus third, Tobias Rona in fourth, Christoph Müller will start in fifth with Mark Keeble joining him on the third row of the grid. Jazz Forsberg, Peter Lee, Patrick Fournier, Steve Kenwood, Piotr Blasesak and Vangelis Parginos run out your front 6 rows. On your 7th row will be Anderson and Van der Linden. Not anymore, because once again, when I say Van der Linden's name, he moves up the order, knocking Blasesak down to 12th, Parginos down to 13th, and Anderson down to 14th. Paul Fenwick will start in 15th, alongside Marek. Stephen Gibb We start in 17th position with Ross Garland just behind Francesco Rocca in 19th, with Van Rouge in 20th, Bigali in 23rd, followed by Herx, Fiala, Horn, Pula Miranda, Blaine Senior, Gogo, Rystad. And then George Ortner did just put in a lap time, but as you can see, a very, very slow one indeed. He wants to start from the rear. We've then got Tuama Stankonen and 2 other drivers who I cannot see anymore because of this stupid start thing that we get at the beginning of the race. George Ortner on the front of the field, and as you can see, we're actually looking from through into the final corner here, because that's how far back George Ortner is going to be starting the second race. It's going to be interesting actually to see Ortner start from the rear. Just looking through, we've got 30 seconds to go, and then we have another 20-minute race in front of us. This is going to be extremely interesting indeed. 20 seconds to go, and then we will be going green for another 20-minute race. George Ortner will be starting from 29th on your field. Now, he was pole sitter for race 1 and your race 1 winner, as well as your race 1 fastest lap setter. But he's decided to start from pretty much the rear of the field. He's got Tobias Rona alongside him. I think Ingemar Peterson is one of the other drivers nearer the rear. It is, and same as Steve McGalley at the very rear of your field. We're going to go have a look at the front as we're going to get going. Now we go. We are green. Everyone's going to get going. We're going to hope for another clean start here into turn number 1. Blaine's under attack. Already into turn number 1. No, it's not quite actually. He's been able to pull a little bit of a gap. People running side by side. I think we have a big issue there. Actually, again, it's happened in a more dramatic spectacle. But Peter Lee is off. No! I was going to say we've only had 2 cars round. No, we've had 3 cars. One of them being Peter Lee. Peter Backer sides it slightly in second. And once again, Reggie Blaine pulling out about a second gap already. Looking through your order. I'm trying to find George Ortner. Here he is on the outside of the keyhole. What a move around the outside. He's up 10 positions through just your beginning sector alone. That is absolutely fantastic start there as we go and have a look at Peter Backus, who's already dropped off of Reggie Blaine. So then, back in your field, we've got George Ortner trying to move up. Now, I'm going to look at Ortner quite a lot because he's going to be fighting his way up the field. He's running side by side with Thomas Horn here. Horn not doing as well as he did in race number 1. I don't know what happened in that second qualifying, but he's around the outside. George Ortner up to P number 19. He's now got Francesco Rocca just up ahead in P number 18. And that's extremely close to Stephen Gibb, Ross Garland, Ronnie Van Rouge, Paul Fenwick, Peter Blesser. He extends all the way up into the top 10 because all of them still in close proximities, being only lap number 1. As your race leader comes across the line, that's Reggie Blaine, and Ortner going to try around the outside of Francesco Rocca. He's going to now be on the inside. There's contact. He's going to take out Francesco Rocca. Rocca just didn't notice him there, and now George Ortner's going to get going again, and he's taken the position. So, Ortner, unfortunately for us, the guy that we have been focusing on at the beginning of this race has just violated the golden rule. Hopefully, if he gets into contact with Francesco Rocca, just apologises. There's no need to take that any further. Otherwise, that could be a ban if a report is made. But that's only if a report is made. Obviously, we've got a new reporting system. If you race with us and do not know that new reporting system, be sure to check it out. It's very simple for you now to report incidents. But be sure to contact the driver you had the incident with first before getting involved with stewards, because it could just be a simple apology is needed. We're looking at Mark Keeble looking for a 3rd position pass. Greg McCall can't quite do it in a moment. He is sitting right behind. This is the Ford just ahead of the Corvette. About half a second between them. Nick Gregory looking for a better second race. I'm sure we saw him retire from race number 1. I think he was the driver we saw retire. As we've already got retirement actually near the rear. Reggie Blaine Senior already out. Peter Lee down to the rear of the field pretty much. 30th position out of 32 starters. 31 still running, and just behind we just saw a move by Marek up the inside of Fiala. Really nice move indeed. And I just don't know who to watch anymore. I'm trying to my hardest to find drivers. Steve Gibb holding defensive on Thomas Horn as we go through. As I'm looking through the chat. out here once again as these drivers are really, really close. As has been said, the league that will be running on this simulator in these cars has not yet been decided what day, but most likely a weekend. Steven Gibb has got Thomas Horn around the outside there, and it's going to be the position gain from Horn. What a move. George Ortner has just been able to make the move behind as well, now looking to get past Steven Gibb. Talking about the league, you get to listen to my wonderful voice bringing you all the action for that as well, so I'm looking forward to it just as much as our drivers are. Steven Gibb has got Ortner around the outside, an amazing clean move for Ortner there, up to P number 18 now as he continues his climb up. Christoph Müller has got Jazz Forsberg on the front of his car, but ooh, that's a weird place to lock up your car through the carousel. Gets it straight back onto the racing line, and away he goes, only down about 3 positions, but that's a very weird place, like I said, to lock up your car. We now look at Vangelos Parginos. He's in the Camaro, and look at this onboard shot. Absolutely no view whatsoever in this middle of Parginos' car. He's looking at Frans van der Linden just up ahead, sits in 7th. And you can see in the mirror, though, perfectly in the mirror, you can see 3 cars are still over the rear of him, so it's quite a lot. Now, it's actually the engine of this Camaro a lot quieter than a number of the other engines. It's actually really strange, because I would expect the Camaro engine to be really loud, definitely compared to the BMW, and I believe the BMW is much louder than that. As now we go and have a little look at Thomas Horn, looking to gain up some positions, but he's going to go on the inside of Ross Garland, but he also is defending George Ortner. Ortner has nowhere to go on that inside. He tried as hard as we couldn't quite do it there. And now over around, I believe it's China Beach there. I'm just trying to remember them now because my phone's broken and I can't use the track net. So now up through that's the S's now. And coming through down into the Thunder Mountain, I believe it's called, or Thunder something. I'm going to call it the Thunder Mountain, it just sounds cool. Anyway, Thomas Horn still looking to get past Ross Garland. He's got George Ortner behind in P18, looking to get made move. But Christoph Müller coming out of that final corner, very, very close indeed to Patrick Fournier. A move to be made, maybe, I'm not too sure, but here goes George Ortner up the inside of Thomas Horn into turn number 1. They're side by side, and it looks like Horn's going to get the advantage on the exit of the corner. They stay side by side. Horn's going defensive as possible. He squeezes Ortner out, and Ortner has absolutely nowhere to go to get into 17th past Thomas Horn. What defensive move from the driver just in front there. Or that's the Ford Mustang, because once again we had 2 types of Fords running around as well, which were the Fords and BMWs are the more predominant drivers here. Continuing through what you were saying there, Ross might let you know more. I believe actually it is Graham who is organising the GT3 event. I believe Ross, Kenny and myself are the ones helping out and pitching in towards that, but I believe Graham is the header of the GT3 league on RaceRoom. The cars you're seeing now on a lovely different variety of tracks. Drivers will be getting out. We'll have 2 different fields, 2 different classes, so if you're not too fast to compete with some of the best guys, you still have a chance of victory in the slower splits if you don't qualify for the top one. As Ortner goes through to us, Thomas Horn, because Horn runs wide, but Horn's trying his hardest to keep his nose in there, but Ortner's just able to squeeze him out on the exit of the corner. 8 minutes down, Ortner is up 22 positions from 30th on the from 29th on the grid to 16th now, because he's been able to go up the inside of Ross Garland. Does a bit of a fight, and Garland has just completely thumped off Thomas Horn, I believe unintentionally and without him knowing. That Garland, I'm sorry Ross, I'm sorry my fellow staffy, you have just disadvantaged Thomas Horn and have not given the position back. That is a breach of the golden rule, because even that is actually a breach of our golden rule, and disadvantaging another driver in any way is a breach. But again, if it's just a simple apology over messages, we'll all be fine, and there's no need to worry as they're side by side in the background. That's Ortner running side by side. He's up to P15 past Ronnie Van Rouge there. So Ortner, he's
about 1.5 seconds away from a 3-car battle for 12th, which he very possibly could get involved in within the next couple of minutes. Can he get a top 10 from 29th on the grid? That's absolutely amazing. Hello everyone joining us in the second of our races tonight. Absolutely fantastic. I'm not used to doing this on a Thursday. I'm used to doing this type of racing on a Sunday, but it's nice to come in the near the end of the week. It gets me through my Friday for tomorrow for sure. And then I'm on holiday anyway for 4 weeks, so I can just sit behind my computer all day, every day, doing absolutely nothing but race and commentate. But Christoph Müller trying to get past Steve Kenwood. That's for a top 10 at the moment. Kenwood holding on in his Corvette, that lovely Mauam looking car, ahead of the only Alpina running of Müller, the number 61, battling with the number 86 car. Heading down, George Ortner is going to try and make the move past Paul Fenwick. He goes to the outside line. Fenwick's going to try his hardest to hold on here, but it looks like Ortner's already been able to move up the position, and he has indeed. Ross Garland being defensive on horn as we saw the cars move across the track onto that inside line, going along the main straight up towards the S's now. Jordan is involved in that battle for P number 12. I said he could do it within the next few minutes. He did it within the next lap, which is only the next minute, in fact. George Ortner, though, all over with Pietro Balasasak now. One of our few Mercedes. Actually, I think he is our only Mercedes. We've only got one Alpine and one Mercedes car tonight. And I mean, Balasasak always races that Mercedes, which I believe... I don't know what bear that is. I believe it is a sweet... I believe it's Haribo. I believe that is Haribo. There's Anderson leading Blassasak, leading Ortler, leading Fenwick. We saw Ross Garland off through the carousel there. So he is down to P number 19 from that. He was in P16 before, but down to P19 now. 9 minutes to go. Ortner's going to go on the attack on the outside of Blassasak into the chicane. They're going to ride side by side. Ortner tries to back out as much as he can. He tried to stick it in at the same time. Blassasak holding the position perfectly though, but heading up towards the corners just up ahead around China Beach here. He's going to be trying his hardest in the background. That is also Thomas Horn trying to get past Ronnie Van Rouge, but we're going to watch this battle here. George Ortner behind Pietro Blassasak. Which way is he going to go? He's going to go for the inside. Blassasak's going to go defensive on the end of the turn-in. So right at the last point, he's going to take his driving line. Ortner not able to do anything with that. He's trying to push as hard as he can on the Corvette. He's got to make an exit. And Blassasak, he moves to the outside line. He can't quite make that overtake. And he's back behind once more, still in 14th and going to 13th. This battle between these two drivers is allowing Anderson to move up and pull away. So almost a second. Ortner's around. George Ortner has spun his Corvette. That's the first mistake we've seen, and he's tried to turn it back around and has done it in a very unsafe manner that has collected Ross Garland. And Ross Garland has just collected us more cars. Oh my god, if you cannot see, but I'm shaking my head in shame. And once again, that is a second violation of the golden rule by George Ortner. He's taken out Ross Garland this time and has continued. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to point you out there, George Ortner. I don't like doing it, but that's 2 violations in 1 race. Therefore, George Ortner, you need to apologise to those drivers, make sure everything is settled. Otherwise, that very possibly could be a race ban. But there's a battle for P number 5. Yes, this is what we want to see. Tobias Rona. He's going to go for the attack in his Ford Mustang around the outside of Jazz Forsberg and McLaren. They're going to run side by side around China Beach here. And I don't know how Forsberg's been able to do it. He's going to hold on the outside. He's going to keep his nose in. Oh my god, he's actually able to keep his nose in to turn. I don't know what turn it is, but it's through the S's. But no, Rona's up the position. And he is through up into P number 5. And no, Forsberg's back up the inside, coming up towards Thunder Mountain. Now there's contact. Oh no. Oh my word, Rona's been able to hold it because Forsberg is the one that's got the brunt of that. That definitely was Forsberg's mistake though with that as they come through. Frans van der Linden now is going to try and get involved. He's going to be able to do because Tobias Rona has slowed down. So I think he's now known that he lost, that he made Jazz Forsberg lose. So he's going to give... That is driving right there. He was in a top 5. He's going to drop all the way down to P17 just to give the position back. He came to a stop on the inside of the course. That is a true driver there. Tobias Rona, you're a gentleman, sir. I bow to you for doing that. I believe Steve Legale also out of the race. We have 2 retirements. 30 cars still racing of our 32 starters. Not too bad at all. Thomas Hall now is up the inside of Pieter Blasacek. He's going to squeeze him out on the exit of the keyhole. And he's going to be up the position, up to P number 11 now. But Blasacek is not going to be done with that. He's going to be trying his hardest to get involved there. And now he's going to move to the outside and try his hardest to get back through. Can't quite do it, unfortunately, for him. Ronnie Van Rouge also behind, trying to get involved with Jazz Forsberg. Because he dipped up behind him. Tobias Rona, you can see in the distance there, after handing all of those positions back. Well, handing the position back to Jazz Forsberg meant he had to give up 10 positions. He actually lost 12 positions overall, giving the position back to Forsberg. And coming through now, 5 minutes to go in the race. Reggie Blaine still leading. Looking at it, George Ortner in 22nd following all of those issues. Now, everyone's just jumping around and no one is displaying constantly because we have had another issue by the look at it. Franco Begali, one of multiple drivers off. Patrick Fournier flies past the cameras, chasing down Vangelis Paginos for 6th position. Actually, it's rather close. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all separated within 1.5 seconds. That is it. This is 2nd. Peter Backus leading Greg McCow. 3rd, leading Mark Keeble. 4th, 3 cars, all within rather close proximity here. George Ortner looking to move up some more position. 21st at the moment, looking at past Rocker, just ahead in 20th. Now, Rocker went off just last lap. Ortner would have most likely seen that. We've also got Marek just up ahead as looked like Rocco was going to try and get past Marek. Coming up through. Now. And the 3 drivers still rather close together. Up the inside goes Ortner, and he's going to be able to make the move this time nice and cleanly. No incident involved. And he's able to move up into a top 20. It's not exactly what he wanted, but it's certainly a fight that he probably would have wanted. It's a lot more interesting than race number 1. Even if he doesn't win it, at least it's a little bit more fun. And I think he's also got the fastest lap, but we'll have to see about that come the end. He's also looking to get past Marek now, who's just up in front. Looking on from the rear wing. Oh, that's the rear wing of the wrong driver. Again, we're in the wrong driver. They're just all flying around my screen here. I can't tell you who the hell is in what position right now. They're just constantly changing. We're looking at Marek though. Ortner's going to be able to make the move. This is definitely going to be an overtake into turn number 1 from George Ortner. He's going to be able to do that. Here he goes. And yeah, Marek backs out. Doesn't want to get involved in that. Talking about backing out, Mark Keeble has dropped off this battle for P number 2. It's now between Peter Backus and Greg McCall. Now that is the BMW v the Ford. Yes, it is. The BMW v the Ford. BMW of Peter Backus, the Ford of Greg McCall. Looking through, this is definitely your closest battle. Peter Lee, he had that issue on lap number 1 and the exit of turn number 1. He's in 28th. He's not had the best of races today. Let's continue along here. Across the line they go. 2.5 minutes remaining of the 2nd race session tonight. As we've had an additional retirement. I could not tell you who, because it looks like it's been a disconnect. I think that's why we've had all of our flickering around in positions on my timing sheets, is because they got disconnected, which completely screwed with our timings. But this is a 3-car battle. Patrick Fournier ahead of Steve Kenwood, ahead of Christoph Muller. Now, Muller was doing really well, actually. I believe in race number 1, he was in the top 5. No, he wasn't. He qualified race number 2 in the top 5, though, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I've seen him in top 5 at some point. He's currently in 9th, though, chasing down Steve Kenwood. But Steve Kenwood's going to make a move on Patrick Fournier. The 2 Corvettes. Here he goes. Going to go for the inside, heading up towards China Beach now. And through he goes. Fournier doesn't even go for the attack on the defense there. 1.5 minutes to go, and he just allows Kenwood through. A little bit of a wobble, and is that going to allow Christoph Muller to get involved? Lars Roystadt is around, and it looks like he's out as well. No, he's still going around the circuit, but he has made a mistake. He's off the track. Out of the race, I'm not too sure. As Muller is now close to Fournier. The Fournier was to Kenwood at the start of the lap. As Thomas Horn also looking to make a move just behind past Anderson, as they both push it wide to the very limit, setting up towards the carousel. Just a minute remaining, and I have just been told Tobias Rona had a disconnect. That's where we had all of the issues, and that's why we lost the positions. Was that a purposeful disconnect though? Pretend he had a disconnect. Turn on aeroplane mode. I've just lost 12 positions, handing that one place back to Jazz. I think I'll turn on aeroplane mode. No, that's a real shame for Toby though. I don't even think he was at fault with that incident with Jazz Forsberg. I think that was Forsberg's fault entirely. But here comes Horn up the inside. They're going to be really close. A little bit of a tap there. But Horn's up the inside of Anderson. There's a little bit more contact as Horn's going as defensive as he possibly can to keep a 9th position ahead of Anderson. And maybe even try to back Anderson into Blas's sack. But Horn is going to hold the inside line. But he goes to the racing line. Thereabouts in the middle of the circuit there. Anderson not close enough to make the move, and once again Mark Keeble is now chased back up to battle for P2 in this race. But I'm going to have to look at Reggie Blaine as he comes through penultimate corner for the final time. An amazing race for Blaine. He's going to come across the line to take the victory. Backus here going to come across the line to take second. This race we do have drivers being lapped only just though. Backus is going to take second ahead of Greg McAuliffe. And that was Mark Keeble in 4th. Here we come though. Frans van der Linden in 5th, coming across the line. There's still this battle between Forsberg and Blasicek, as well as the battle between Horn, Anderson, and Fournier. But they're going to cross the line in that order. Forsberg not able to get past Blasicek. Up to 13th though, following the issues that he had. Dropped down to 16th position after being in 6th position when he spun after tapping the rear end of Tobias Rona. But what a race that was. I believe everyone now has finished pretty much. We've got these drivers here coming across the line. Francesco Rocca in 19th, Marek in 20th, Ingemar Peterson 21st, Martin Fayela 22nd, Colin Hertz 23rd. As everyone else just comes across the line, then we're going to get our race results up in a moment's time, and we can talk that through very, very quickly indeed. As we come across, I believe we're just waiting for Ross Garland to come across the line. I'm not so sure. But anyway, as we come to the end of the race, Blaine takes your win here from pole position. Peter Backus in 2nd. McAuliffe finished in 3rd. Mark Keeble in 4th. Van der Linden in 5th position. Really far behind those leaders. Paginas in 6th, followed by Kenwood, Mueller, Horn, Anderson running out your top 10. Patrick Fournier in 11th, followed by Blasicek, Forsberg, Fenwick, Lankinen in 15th, Van Rouge in 16th, Gibb in 17th, and Ortner moving back up the order to 18th with the fastest lap of the race. But 2 major incidents and 2 breaches of the golden rule, which means he needs to apologise to those 2 drivers. Otherwise he will face a ban if a report is sent. 19th position, Rocca, Marek in 20th, Peterson 21st, and then the rest of the order, which I'm not going to get through, but your final retirement in that race was Tobias Rona following a disconnect, which is unfortunate, but he didn't have to give that position back to Forsberg because it was no means his fault. That was entirely Forsberg's fault, but he did the very gentleman thing. He did disadvantage another driver, even if it wasn't his fault, and he gave the position back. So very well done for him as we go across the sessions. Thank you all for joining here tonight. Thank you all for getting involved. I mean, I really do love your avatar there, Lorenzo. I also do love your name there, Stewie. I'm not going to say the first word because I'm not allowed to swear on stream, but do really like your name there, Stewie. Thank you very much, obviously, everyone, for joining us tonight. If you are interested in the GT3 League, that is going to come on Race Department on this simulator. In these cars, be sure to keep an ear out. There'll be some announcements about that league very shortly indeed.
and I will be bringing you the broadcast of that. So you can look forward to that as well as we get to the end of this event. It's been very nice. I think it's a Sunday now. I really do think it's a Sunday because it's been an amazing race on RaceRoom that normally only happen on a Sunday for me because that's the only time I normally get time to do a event on RaceRoom, but I decided to do the Thursday event and I'm really glad I did. That was absolute fan bloody tastic. That was. Thank you for everyone who joined us tonight. If you did enjoy the stream, be sure to hit that thumbs up because it really makes me actually feel a little bit better about myself when you hit that thumbs up, because I'm just a student and I like the thumbs up because I'm just someone who works on YouTube and it makes me feel better about myself. So please hit the thumbs up. In all seriousness, no. Thank you very much for joining. I am going to be going live again tomorrow, most likely for a broadcast, but I might race myself, but that'll be in the Mazda MX-5s around Silverstone, I believe. No, it's not. Monza. It's Monza, I believe. But anyway, we've got a race tomorrow that we'll be streaming. We've got the RaceRoom Sunday on Sunday, so if you did enjoy this RaceRoom event, we've got one on Sunday again, same time, 19:30 GMT. We'll be bringing you all the live coverage of that this weekend. I'll be sure to see you then. Sure to subscribe, to like, and to head over to racepartner.com and get involved yourself. Thank you very much, and goodbye.